Hey, what's up everyone? In today's video, I want to discuss XRP's price action in the shorter time frames and talk about what could happen for the rest of 2025 and going into 2026 using the Elliott Wave Theory. I think it's important to discuss this because I believe we are in a range where smart money will continue to accumulate before the mega move to the upside, whether it's going to be a year, 6 months from now, or now. We never know. But we discussed for the past 6 months or so about the largest 7-year accumulation via a triangle pattern. But as price is now stalling here, we can get a fair idea of what patterns could be developing in the current range. Now, I'm doing this video because I want to reiterate my point on why XRP is still the king of all crypto coins. At this point, it's quite clear that XRP is one of the most established coins out there. Whether you hate it or whether you love it, I really don't care. It is a new paradigm shift where we now have to champion XRP's continuation for regulatory framework. It's about survivability at this point. Now, before I get into the price action, I want to point out one interesting development in South Korea. South Korea has just recently banned 14 unregistered exchanges from the app stores, and some of them are actually very big names like KuCoin and MEXC. This is really an important indirect correlation to why XRP is continuing to solidify its strength here in South Korea. Now, for those of you who don't know, South Korea has a very unique relationship with crypto, and Korea has an unusual high retail participation with a strict regulatory stance. Usually, those two don't go hand in hand with each other. You will see people usually try to find offshore exchanges, not for Koreans, nuh-uh. So that's why they resort to XRP. So these recent bans actually helps XRP indirectly because it's one of the few coins that provide strong perceived regulatory clarity. XRP, unlike a lot of other altcoins, has had its day in court with the SEC in the United States. There's nothing new about that, right? But because of this, Koreans, especially with tighter regulations looming, prefer coins that have shown resilience under scrutiny, making XRP more attractive in that sense. XRP has been long listed on Korea's Big Four regulated exchanges in South Korea, while a lot of newer or more speculative coins get delisted or banned. Because of their vagueness, XRP has stood the test of time, and that alone built investor confidence and trust throughout the years, which also helped contribute to the insane liquidity and volume. Remember, Korea's top exchange, Upbit, as you can see here, alone holds 5% of the total supply, and 20% of the entire country's market capitalization for XRP comes out of South Korea alone. Even on a bad day like today or a low volume day over day, week over week, year over year, it continues to outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum combined. XRP at the top right here, as you can see. Bitcoin over here. Where's Ethereum? I don't even see it. Oh, right here. This is why I'm talking about why XRP is such a big phenomenon here. And because of this, it created cultural familiarity. Let's not forget that. XRP's popularity in South Korea isn't new. It's been strong since the 2017 bull run. And that kind of familiarity and collective memory, especially among older Korean OGs or investors, creates brand loyalty, and XRP fits that ticket perfectly, especially now that XRP is becoming a bridged asset for financial institutions. So this bank-friendly narrative aligns with Korea's more centralized, compliant view of innovation. So that's something to keep in mind. But what does this mean for price action? Can we see that translation in the price action? Absolutely. These kinds of news coming out of South Korea only provides further confidence that this is a coin that will continue to be accumulated because of all the reasons I mentioned. It is the strongest performing asset of 2025 and from 2024, arguably, and it will be dependent on two main points. The fib levels I mentioned out here, that I've drawn out here, will either act as major support or resistances in the future. And if we don't reach those levels and we just blast out of here, as we see by this first route, I don't think there is even a bearish count at this moment. Not that I can see, at least for now. And I think that we will continue to range here as a possibility as well. Many are becoming increasingly bearish at these levels and starting to say that it's a dead coin once again. And I'm going to explain why this is the exact sentiment that we need, and it won't fool smart money who has bought XRP for the past 7 years. Each day that passes, I find it quite fascinating on how XRP is holding above its weight class and outperforming every single coin out there. So from an Elliott Wave perspective, this 5-way move was the most critical point, ladies and gentlemen, against any other asset out there. It's one of the most clear 5-way moves out there other than Solana, but Solana has been continuing to the downside. And right now, XRP is still continuing to hold above its weight class, like I said. So as long as we're able to stay above the 38.2 Fibonacci level or the 61.8% Fibonacci level, then I think XRP is just going to be working for higher levels, ladies and gentlemen. There's really no way to put this. If you're strictly speaking from a technical analysis perspective, no subjectivity attached to it, you have to believe that XRP is one of the strongest coins out there when it comes just from a purely technical standpoint. And right now, because we are seeing a possible double correction here as a WXY, I think that this is just setting us up for what is going to be a larger move to the upside. So if we pull up the shorter time frames, we have a few ways that we can be looking at it. Now, the first idea here is that we're now completed with this wave 1-2, like I mentioned. Now, remember, I said that we could be working a larger accumulation pattern, but right now we won't know. But the most important thing that we have to kind of identify here is whether this wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be built, or a ABC going into W, X, and then Y. That could be a part of a larger wave B that should be giving us a larger move to the downside. If this happens, you best believe that I'm going to be accumulating XRP like no other, because this point here is just a fake out inflection point, and this here will be another fake out inflection point that creates equilibrium, and that equilibrium pattern is known as the expanded flat idea that creates equilibrium between all points. And because of this, I think this is why XRP is going to be established as one of the strongest players going into not only this cycle, but going into the next cycle as well, even with the worst case scenario where we come back down and retest these levels. So if we have done that for the past 7 years for accumulation, what's another year of an accumulation going to do for us? It's not going to do anything for smart traders, that's for sure, because I can guarantee you that a lot of institutions and retail, smart retail that is, not dumb money, but smart investors are going to see this as a massive opportunity. If not, and we break above these levels as a 5-wave impulse going into wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's just going to be ballistic at that point. I think we're just going to be FOMOing in at that point at new all-time highs, going straight to that $10, $20 regions as the target. So that's my overall point on why XRP is going to be one of the major players going forward, not only for this cycle, but for 2026 and even into 2027, in my opinion. I think we picked one of the best coins, and there is a reason why I've only talked about XRP for the past 6 months or so. There is a reason behind it, because you got to follow where the smart money is going into. I could care less if XRP cured cancer. I could care less what XRP did as a project, but those things are very important, and they aren't falling behind in the fundamental side, which is why XRP is also being supported and being translated to a strong price action, showing that we are working in an accumulative range. So hopefully that was helpful, ladies and gentlemen. The next few weeks is going to be very important if we're able to stay above this protected low here at the $1.60 level. We haven't retested 38.2% or the 61.8%. So if we do come back down, I believe that we may be working in a triple zigzag if the immediate scenario to the downside happens. But again, that's just going to be further opportunity, like I said. And I don't know if even the people, smart investors, want these levels to be even hit. I think that they really want to see an all-time high before they take profits, come back down, take more opportunities to accumulate XRP. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, XRP is still one of the strongest coins out there. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Bye-bye.